Hey, what's up guys, Brad here, today with a brand new Duel Links video talking about Hamon, Lord of Striking Thunder. So, we have the upcoming Duelist Chronicles rerun event of the first one. That one before gave us Uriah. This time we're getting Hamon. Konami officially confirmed it to us in an in-game announcement yesterday. And I thought we'd do a video very similar to the one I did a couple of months ago talking about Uriah, this time about Hamon, just to give you some heads up on what the card is, what it's good in, what we could use it in Duel Links, and some other things we might get in the event or what I want in the event. So it's a bit of a mixed bag video for today, but hope you guys will enjoy, and let me know your thoughts down below on Hamon, whether you're excited for it to come to Duel Links and what kind of ideas you have to use the card in Duel Links. So let's get into the video without further ado. That definitely wasn't the right order for that. So first up, let's just take a look at Hamon, see what he's all about. So he's a level 10 Thunder 4000 attack and defense, so he is the counterpart of Ra for GX, but as you can see, he starts off with a base attack of 4000, which is kind of crazy. You know, like Ra is very dependent on you getting monsters on board to make up that attack points, but Hamon comes straight out with 4000, you're guaranteed 4000, and I think in Duel Links that's a little bit better than Ra's, you know, let's just make up attack points kind of thing. So it can't be normal summon or set, must be special summoned from your hand by sending 3 face-up continuous spell cards you control to the graveyard. So like Uriah loses traps, I think it is, and Ravia uses monsters on your field. Hamon uses continuous spell cards, which is going to be the main downfall to using it in Duel Links, the main hurdle you have to cross to using it in Duel Links, because we don't really have that good continuous spell archetypes in Duel Links. There's only really one I can think of, and that's the one you're going to use it in. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by balancing into the graveyard, you inflict 1000 points of damage to your opponent, so it does burn, and it's incredibly hard to get out. So I feel like that's a fair kind of trade-off. I know Konami don't really want, you know, burn decks to be at the forefront of Duel Links, and I think Hamon is in its own little niche where it can kind of fit nicely and kind of stay there. Of course, now I'm kind of thinking that burn decks, Burning Land is a continuous spell card. You could do a Burning Land continuous spell burn deck to get Hamon out. That could be a real cheesy, tilty way to bring this card out, but probably not the most consistent way of summoning Hamon. Then, while this card is in face-up defense mode, monster opponent controls cannot target monsters for attack except for this one. So if we ever had 2 of them on the field in the game, that would create a lockdown, and I'm sure there are other cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! That have effects very similar to this of what's in defense, but I know Morphotronic Magnon, which we don't have in Duel Links, does have a very similar effect of when it's in defense mode, you can only attack him. So if you had both of them on the field, then you wouldn't be able to attack anything and you'd have a lockdown for your opponent. So Konami obviously are aware of that, and they're probably not going to put in cards that make a lockdown work, so that's kind of what we're seeing on Hamon. Hamon is a very, very big boy. It's my favorite of the Sacred Beasts, honestly, just design-wise, and it has a really cool animation in Duel Links. I'm pretty sure we have it already. If I do, I'll put it on the screen right now. And yeah, so it's a cool animation, it's a cool card, but how good is it going to be in Duel Links? Now, honestly, not very. It's not going to be a card you see used in competitive play because it's just so hard to get out, and in Duel Links we have maybe 2 or 3 decks that could be used to get it out consistently. So how exactly are we going to use this in Duel Links? Now, there aren't many decks that have continuous spell cards or a good diversity of them. So right now I feel like you have Aqua Actress that have 2 continuous spell cards requiring set and lighting, which are, integral for the archetype to work. But also, then there's also Ancient Gears, which have a Castle and Fortress, so you could theoretically splash Hamon in there, or build a deck that really circumvents your opponent's expectations for what you're playing, so you could bait them in to think you're playing standard Ancient Gears, but you're not, you're just playing a Hamon deck for the fun of it. That could be a way to go around it. But there's one other archetype, and the one it's used in the TCG, and that is Crystal Beasts. So obviously Crystal Beasts, their main gimmick is that when they're destroyed, they go into the spell and trap card zone as continuous spell cards, making them perfect targets for this card. Now, in Duel Links we have a few cards that can kind of facilitate you getting them into those spell and trap card zones easier than just getting destroyed. We have things like Crystal Blessing, which we have 2 of in the game. It's a rare. Target up to 2 Crystal Beasts in your graveyard and place them in your spell and trap card zone, so easily fueling up your spell and trap card zone with that. The only downside is, of course, that you will need to have one of them go to spell and trap card zone outside of that, because you need one zone free to play the card. So you're still going to be relying on, monsters being destroyed to go into the back row with this deck to actually facilitate summoning Hamon. Then we have Crystal Bond, which I feel like is one of the best cards it has, but There's only one of them in the game, it's a hard once per turn. You add one Crystal Beast from your deck to your hand, then place one with a different name from your deck in your spell and trap card zone, so kind of getting 2 cards out, but you're getting a monster as well, so really, really nice card. There's also things like Crystal Tree, which gives you counters whenever a Crystal Beast goes into your back row, and then you can use it to fill up the back row by tributing the card off, so that's also a really cool little strategy you could use there to get counters, get Crystal Beasts in your spell trap card zone for Hamon. There's also traps like Counter Gem and Crystal Pair, which, of course, traps, relatively slow, but the archetype, the whole deck, is kind of slow in and of itself, so not too much of an issue there. Though, if we got one more copy of Emerald Tortoise, which we have 2 of them in the game right now via a starter deck, then I could see a Stall Crystal Beast variant coming to the game, which would be quite fun, because if, like, you got Hamon out, you know, say Hamon was sitting there on the field in defense mode, you could then summon Amethyst Cat and have her keep attacking directly, dealing damage, and she wouldn't be under threat because your opponent has to attack Hamon first, so you could have a very cheesy kind of a deck that just chips away your opponent's life points little by little with this card, with a stall variant that gets Hamon out and then either go in with a big attack or use, you know, Amethyst Cat to keep dealing damage, keep chipping away, and having a fun time there. So that's one little way the Crystal Beast could work with Hamon, which is going to be the main deck you see them played with. So honestly, on Wednesday I'd expect you know, to see like Playmaker and Duel Links Ace and all that kind of people making Crystal Beast Hamon decks, because it's going to be a fun deck to play with. So what else in Duel Links could be used with this now? There is one card that I'm like really excited to see how this would work out. Muckyu the Magical Missile, old box super rare, we haven't seen it in a very long time. We got it with Summon Skull when that first came out, and this destroys all of your opponent's monsters with a defense that is equal to or less than a monster on your field, a thunder monster on your field. So 4,000, that's going to nuke your opponent's entire board. Nothing in Duel Links is going to have 4,000 attack points unless you're playing something with Power of the Guardians, in which one it would still protect itself because you could use Power of the Guardians effect, but that is like a Raigeki for your opponent, which would be really cool to see in Duel Links, you know, like just a complete board wipe that's not Black Rose, because Black Rose obviously kills everything, whereas this is a 2-card combo that does destroy all your opponent's cards, which is all your opponent's monsters, which would be very fun to see. And again, like I said earlier, I think it is Morphotronic Magnon. That's not in Duel Links just yet, but if it does come to Duel Links, then that has an effect when it's in defense mode. You can only attack him. So if you have both of them in defense, you never lock down, your opponent can't really do anything until they remove Hamon. But Hamon doesn't have any protection by itself, which is kind of disappointing. So it is still a very easy card for you to get rid of. It's not like the anime, where I believe it was protected by spell effects, I think it was. I think Hamon was like, I think they were all protected from spell effects. So yeah, like that would have been crazy if it's in the actual TCG card, but it's not. So that's basically where I'm ending Hamon off, because there's not too much in Duel Links that we can do with it. It's just kind of like, hey, splash it in Crystal Beast, give you a new boss monster for that deck. You don't really need to change the deck too much to kind of facilitate playing him. So again, interesting to see what's coming with Hamon, but let's discuss what else we could see from this event. So of course we're going to get reprints of previous event cards. I expect like Sabatiel the Philosopher's Stone. We haven't seen that one being reprinted since this event first came out, so I guess we'd see that in, you know, Card Trader X or something. We're probably going to get, you know, Winkrib level 9 again. All of the Elemental Hero fusions we've seen added to these events, probably get those again. We had Chaos Neos from the first one and Grand Merge from the second one. Now, that's interesting because that means that we're not limited for Elemental Hero fusions from just Season 1. You know, we got Chaos Neos, which came from Season 3, I think it's Season 2, Season 3, so we're not limited on having cards exclusively from that era, or that part of the show, as rewards in this event. So, going along that theme, what other Elemental Hero cards could we see come to the game? Now, there really isn't that many fusions left that Konami could easily give us. There's of course the fusions that revolve around Grand Mole, which they won't give us because Grand Mole will be a box UR or something, so expect them to sell that to you when they can. There's also things like Rainbow Neos and Air Neos, which are both summonable by Neos Fusion and are pretty ridiculous, so again, don't expect those. Something like Absolute Zero is also a Raigeki when it's destroyed, which is pretty busted. Still competitive play in the TCG, so don't expect that. The only other things I can think of if we were to get new Elemental Hero fusions are Jaden, he had Flare Wingman and Shining Flare Wingman. Asta had Phoenix Enforcer and Shining Phoenix Enforcer. Now, I personally would think, yeah, let's give that in a the rerun of the GX Chronicles 2 event, the Sartorius Society of Light event, but they could easily do that here, give us some new fusions, some of those guys, and those are a bit different. Those ones can't be destroyed by battle, which is something I don't particularly like in Duel Links, but it'd be fun to play around with those elemental heroes, so again, could be cool to see those if those do come to Duel Links. And of course, we do have potential for like other continuous spell support cards, maybe some reprints of Crystal Beast stuff. Again, like I said, Emerald Tortoise would be nice to see as a reprint. Maybe more Crystal Blessing or something, maybe another Crystal Bond. Like that'd be amazing if they did that. That'd probably be the best card from the event, honestly, is another copy of Crystal Bond if we did get that. Again, like they've given us Wing Creeper support in the past, but I don't think they'll give us, I don't think they'll give us level 10 or Transcendent Wings, because that's just a burn deck in of itself and a Raigeki style effect again, so they probably won't give us that. So it's interesting, like there's so much they could do with this event. The first event we got Uriah, we got like 2 other URs and then a bunch of SRs. The second Tag Duel tournament event, not Tag Duel tournament, the second Duelist Chronicles event, we got another new UR and a bunch of new SRs. So, and we also got like a skill, I think, for Jaden. So I'm interested to see what they're doing with this event, because like they could give us some Cyber Dragon support for all we know. Like we just got the new Cyber Dragon card in the box. What better way to get people to go into it by giving us some free-to-play Cyber Dragon support cards? Maybe something like Cybernetic Hidden Support, which is pretty terrible, but who knows, that could be kind of cool. Cyber Dragon Veer, the new one that special summons itself up when a Cyber Dragon is summoned, like that's only going to make summoning Twin Dragon easier right now, so I feel like that's a good card for us to get. That'd be kind of cool. But let me know what you think. What do you want to see come from this event aside from Hamon? Do you think Hamon's going to be good? I know this is a bit of a rambly all over the place video. I wanted to kind of talk about this, but there wasn't really too much to kind of go into, so I'm just kind of spitting my thoughts out here and there. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next Duel Links video. See you then.